Hello, welcome back to the channel. Now, we've driven the Toyota GR Yaris in its revised form before overseas, but this is our chance to drive it on the road in the UK. But first, here is a small refresher of the technical changes Toyota has made to its pocket rocket.
Externally, there is a three-piece front bumper now with a larger cooling aperture and a stronger metal grille. At the rear, the low-level reversing light has been raised because exhausts were melting it, while the high-level brake light has gone from the spoiler to the window because that was upsetting tuners who fitted their own rear wings. Hidden body changes are a 15% increase in spot welds and adhesive to stiffen the shell, while the front struts are beefier. The engine gets more cooling, a strengthened valve train, new exhaust valves, lighter pistons and a higher injection pressure. Power is 276 horses and torque 288 foot-pounds. Both are up. The manual gearbox has stronger linkages, but there's now also an 8-speed torque converter automatic, which weighs just 20 kilos more. Revised drive modes put 40% of power to the rear in normal, 46% in gravel, and between 40 and 70% in track, although that's less relevant to our road drive today. Spring rates are increased all round, but more so at the front, and the front anti-roll bar is stiffer too. And this is all now basically the circuit pack. There's no softer suspension option. Lastly, inside, the seat can be dropped 25mm lower than before, the rear view mirror has been raised by 25mm, and the new instrument binnacle is 50mm lower, all to improve the driver's sightlines. And they've put the price up by quite a lot. The Yaris used to start at around £30,000. Now it is 45k in the UK.
And so welcome to the inside of the 24 GR Yaris. And, well, cabin-wise, this binnacle is lower than before, this mirror is higher than before, so visibility is improved, but there are aftermarket places which would drop the seat lower for you, and I think that would still be beneficial. The driving position is otherwise very good. These digital instruments are fine, and this Yaris now has to comply with the latest batch of safety regulations, which includes lane keep assist and road sign, speed limit warning, speed limit reading. You can turn them off because, like most of these systems, they're not very good. You can do it all through the wheel. You don't have to go into a touchscreen, which is fine. There is a touchscreen, it's got CarPlay, it'll do what you want. This one, as you may notice, is an automatic. If you leave it in mooch along mode, it mooches along. It shifts very smoothly, very cleanly. The engine sounds a little bit gravelly at times as it accelerates and stuff. It doesn't excite all the time in a way that the previous Yaris did, which I think always felt like it wanted you to be absolutely on it. This feels initially, and I think part of it is down to this gearbox, and the manual is still available, of course, is that it does chill, it does mooch, it changes up at low revs. I mean, I'm doing 50 miles an hour. It's put itself into 5th gear where it's doing like under 2,500 revs. But you can whack it across to manual. I don't know how much you can hear of its fizzes and whizzes, but just as you put it round to the rev line, it revs to yellow lines at 6.5 and it revs out to 7. And it becomes, you get a bit of whistle from the exhaust, you get, as you lift off, you get the little chirrups here and there. It is suddenly much more engaging and much more alert when you put it into manual mode. It's a torque converter rather than a twin clutch. You know what? It's fine. It changes up quickly enough, and when it comes to down changes, they're both doing that thing where they're sort of disconnecting and firing up the revs anyway. And then when a corner comes, I mean, it's still got that sort of rampant enthusiasm that it just gets better the faster you go, and it kind of wants you to go faster and faster, and when you do go fast, it can go astonishingly quick. As a sort of point-to-point car, it's really fast. It's really fast. I mean, all performance cars are too quick for the road these days. This is among them, but you get quite a lot back at sensible speeds. When you're sort of pressing on, it's not pressing on like you're pressing on in a Ferrari F8 or anything. It's not that, it's not that level of unhinged quickness. In the changes that Toyota has made, the front suspension I think is slightly stiffer than it used to be. And what that means is more stable at the front as you turn. There's a bit more to lean on. It doesn't feel like it's suddenly whipping round like it did before. It's still a very agile car in the great scheme of things. It's compact, it's light, it turns very quickly, but it does it with more stability than the previous Yaris did. It's not a criticism, that's not good, that's not bad, it's just the way it is. It's still got great steering, it's still got loads of grip, it's still got loads of poise. And on UK roads, and this is the interesting thing, for me, I mean, you may not be in the UK, but I've only driven this car on a circuit before, and now to try it on the road, there's a reasonable amount of road noise. I don't mind that. This is this sort of car that, you know, that's totally acceptable. But the ride is fine. You know, it's firm, no question, but it doesn't crash. It doesn't kick back into the steering. You may have just heard it as I went over a jolt then. You know, that's a big bump, and I heard it, and I felt it a bit, but it wasn't unkindly crashy. And in a way, that reminds me maybe of some of the earlier Subarus, maybe, that, you know, they were firm, but they had a degree of compliance to them, and deftness, and, you know, it wasn't rock hard. And the best drivers' cars do that. You know, they don't have to be rock hard all the time. And this is still among them. I mean, I really enjoyed this car when it came out in its first generation form. The changes have altered its character ever so slightly. It's no more fun than it used to be. Not sure it's any less fun than it used to be. It's just got a very slight difference in its character. But it's still a lot of fun. It's now quite a lot of money. So it was a lot of bargain priced fun before. It's a lot of not quite so bargain priced fun now. But it is still a real high point of modern performance car, hot hatchery, rally replica-y, whatever you want to call it. It is still one of the best drivers' cars on sale. Great fun before, great fun now.